I'm Matt Byrne, CEO of Curicon. Curicon is a global collectibles marketplace that changes some of the rules for how collectors in these passion-driven markets go about buying and selling collectibles. So the strategy we had was to continue running our full-time business while we were starting Curicon in the early stages, while we were finding the market fit, the viability of the market, and the potential opportunities we had to exploit those problems there. Then as we developed further, we had to really make some serious decisions about who was in which business and keep them fairly separate. So I would only suggest anyone tries that in the very early stages, but it's not a good idea once you've started taking people's money, you've made promises to people, and you're starting to make a real commitment to something. Alright, so the team is probably the hardest thing that I've experienced so far. I think it's one of the problems everyone's going to have because there's only a certain amount of great people and it's pretty hard to get them to come stand next to you. So what we've really identified is that one of the best ways of attracting the best people is finding them in a context separate to what you're actually doing in the business and actually having a conversation with them about something that's sort of a bit different. From that you can really find out what they're really about and who they are, because they're not answering questions specifically tuned to finding the answers that you want to hear in relation to your business. So for us, we found our best sort of most important hire just recently by having one of those conversations, and that's led to us developing technology much earlier than we thought we'd be capable of. We've always identified the US as an important place for us to be, both because that's where a big part of our market that we're targeting is, that's where the partners are, that's where the distribution systems are, and of course that's where the additional capital that we'll need to grow is located. So we're anticipating a launch as far as the product goes this July, and also looking at this year, looking to raise some capital in the US and expand our presence there. So raising money in Australia is very different to raising money in the US. Networks matter a lot here. I know they matter in the US, but they matter in a different way here. So what we found is it's really important that people believe that you're a business person first and maybe a technologist second. The word entrepreneur is probably something that's going to be less valuable than a business person here. People want to see real data. Australians are used to digging rocks out of the ground, and you have to convince them that what you're doing is just as viable or potentially more important than digging rocks out of the ground, which they know for a fact is very profitable. So in Australia, having a few runs on the board as far as running a real business, so that's a revenue first business, and that's really important. I mean, people look to business people who have that sort of track record, and you'll find a lot easier to raise money that way.